Dope. Let me know when you get yours set up.
You can go ahead whenever you're ready.
Dope. Cool. So today we got Johawnn here today for episode 4 of the podcast. How's it going, man?
It's going well. How about yourself, brother?
Not too bad. Not too bad. So why don't we jump right into this thing? All right. So why don't you give us some background on when you started getting into music, when music came into your life, and how it's kind of played a role, especially during like the early stages of your music journey.
Yeah, of course. I went ahead and wrote down some notes to your questions that you had asked me.
Great.
Um, got into music March 2018, and the way that I got into music, it was kind of like as a challenge for myself because I was watching Nick Mira and the guys that were on the Internet Money YouTube channel. I was watching them make beats, and I was like, "Yo, this shit kind of whack," but it's got like 100,000 views. No hate on those guys, but I was like, "Man, I can do this way better than them."
Hmm.
And I started producing, making beats, and I was like, "This shit's hard."
Yeah.
So I worked on it forever, and 5 years deep now, but it was only a year and a half into making the beats that I started producing albums for people, and um, I actually started kind of rapping myself, but I stopped rapping. I had a few tracks that I had made that got like 7,000 views on YouTube, 8,000, 9,000. Like the views just started racking up out of nowhere. I was like, okay, so there's potential,
Hmm.
and I just kept going with it.
Yeah. So you started producing for artists, right? How did that kind of start? Did you just reach out to them? They reached out to you? Like, what did you guys do to find each other?
Man, I don't know. It fell into place. It was so perfect. Some of the guys I went to high school with, they had a studio in town, and started working with those guys. And one guy I just met off Snapchat, and I was like, hey, bro, whatever. I was looking for some bud, and then he rapped. And
Hmm.
he lived like 2 blocks from me. I was like, "Oh shit, bro, you rap?" And then I make beats. Come over, bro. Let's hang out. And
Yeah.
it just
Yeah, that really
happened.
is perfect.
Yeah.
So who are some of your early influences? Like, how would you sort of describe your style?
Hmm. That's a good question. I take inspiration from anything. Um, Early influences, definitely Metallica. I like Metallica growing up. Got into rock like Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, those guys.
Hmm.
Early rap, early rap influence, Wiz Khalifa for sure. But I get inspiration from anything. Like I could be hearing some water running, and the patterns it like hits the surface. I mean, like that'd be a hard sample right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. But what about yourself?
You know, it's sort of tough to say, you know what I mean? Because it's like I would say, I definitely am sort of influenced by whatever I hear, but my music itself, I wouldn't say I'm like sound a whole lot like another artist. It's more just like stealing a bit of this, stealing a bit of that, throwing it together, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I think I played guitar. I've played guitar for like 8 years at this point, and that was really my main thing for a while. So like a lot of those influences are definitely starting to come up in the way I write things, like, like all the chord changes that I liked on guitar and stuff like that. I'll apply that to, my instrumental music and stuff, but and also just the melody writing. But I wouldn't say I don't really know exactly who I sound like. It's definitely, I would say definitely like I kind of go in like the electronic direction and also like the classical direction. So like just kind of molding those two a little bit together. But it's still, I'm still kind of new to it, you know what I mean? So I don't even know if I have like a distinct vibe. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I
yeah,
want to hit on that electronic thing real fast because I listen to EDM to this day, but I'm listening to EDM since Skrillex came out, so a while now. And some of the melodies they use in the drops, dude, those are the hardest. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
If you can incorporate those in like some way, like hyperpop or whatever that genre that came out, that was really cool, but it got old, really quick.
Yeah, I never even really dove into that, to be honest. I think I missed the bus on that one. I don't really even know what the deal is there.
I didn't even make any hyperpop beats because I was like, everyone's doing it. Same thing with
Mm.
drill music. Everyone's making drill music, so I was just like, I'm not gonna, you know, take the time to learn that. But
Yeah,
good,
totally.
it's a good weapon to have in your arsenal,
Mm, totally. So you said you're are you like a big fan of Skrillex?
though. Yeah, I would say yeah, man. He's probably the greatest EDM producer of all time.
Yeah, he's so was he really like the pioneer for that type of sound?
Oh my God, most definitely, man. Most definitely, because um, you gotta think like early two or not even early 2000s. Like I would say besides Skrillex, the earliest song before that that was EDM related was probably that Darude Sandstorm song.
Huh?
That was probably really big too. But EDM's really big over in like the Ukraine and Russia in like the early 90s and 2000s and stuff. But it's not big in the US like it is over there at that
Mm.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always thought like Bangarang was ridiculous. And then he has that other song. It's what is it? Right On or Right In? It's on the same album. It's some that song's unbelievable. And then just like the drops really are absolutely ridiculous. It's like it's borderline it it's interesting to use the word melody because it's so chaotic, but it is melodic at the same time. It seems like they're going for like definitely more the expression of like ridiculous sounds, and they focus on it goes sound and then melody rather than melody then sound. Yet it is obviously melodic, so it's pretty wild what those guys are up to.
For sure. I went to a rave one time, and this before I started making music, but one thing I did notice at the rave, because it was an EDM, obviously, thing, but is when the bass drops, that's what most of the people care about, is how hard that bass drops and the vibrations and your body shaking and all that. That's what the fans care about, really.
Yeah.
But
So just like the drop in general, or literally just the bass.
a combination of that, and then like how fast, the drum and the rhythm is. If it's really fast paced, they're gonna be
Yeah.
like up and down more and just gets the people moving, and that's what they want. That's what they paid for.
Absolutely, absolutely. There really is something interesting there where like you you can kind of style your songs for like a live audience versus like maybe like an at-home listening thing. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that maybe I've never even really considered is like this, like I'll listen to songs, they'll be like, oh, this was really like meant for a live thing, for a dance thing, rather than something to like just vibe out to on my own. Not that it's bad or anything, but I could definitely see how some songs would like fall more into that context. You know what I mean?
Most definitely, most definitely. Have you uh been thinking that way, making it be like, oh, this drop would go live or not go live, could go crazy at a concert?
Not really. Like I don't even my music, I don't even see it as like live music at all. That's something like I've talked to my friends about that. They're like, you gotta like get out there and play shows and stuff with this. But I'm like, it's not live music, which is it's weird. It would have to be some sort of like different type of show rather than like a concert because it's not like danceable or anything like that. It's more like music that you would hear on like a TV show or something, you know what I mean? So
That's
I,
what I was.
I've never I've never
That's
really considered it that way.
I said that's what I was gonna say about your music and like when I'm scrolling through your page on TikTok and I'm hearing these beats and kind of like the way that you speed it up too. You got a timer in the background and it's just like it's called a score, like a movie score or a show
Yeah, yeah.
score or something like that. I think those would go really well, or maybe as like an intro to like the beginning of a Twitch. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like a Twitch screen. Those would go awesome there. Yours would.
Yeah. Yeah. That said, that's not a bad idea. That's something I could definitely look into is like trying to find people to just like use it. I'm trying to get the sync licensing thing set up right now so that people can have like access to it and stuff. So that's definitely on the docket. I haven't thought about using it for like streams or anything or even like YouTube intros, you know what I mean?
I'm not
People
saying I think your music could be, made with music or with other music. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to discredit you at all.
made with I don't know what you mean.
Like artists could hop on that and rap on it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely possible, you know what I mean? For me, it's like I I'm hesitant to get other people in on it, you know what I mean? Because it's like I kind of want it to just be my own thing, you know what I mean? And it's like
I
I think,
understand.
yeah, I think also just like, a couple of years from now, it's definitely gonna I'm definitely gonna be able to make a way. I'm definitely gonna be able to find a way where like it can sustain itself in a sense. Cause it's like it's hard to fill the void of a vocalist with just instruments, you know what I mean? But I think I'm definitely sort of moving in that direction.
I hear
But
you.
at the same time, it's like if someone wanted to rap on it, I could do like an instrumental version, then like a rap version too, and just release both of those. You know what I mean? That could be cool.
Oh yeah. I
Mhm.
got a few questions of myself, but I want to answer a few of yours that you had asked me real quick.
Well, I'm down for the questions right now if you're
Okay.
down to go there.
I kind of just I wrote down some last night and then I wrote down some just now. Um, I like to do an overrated, underrated, or just rated.
Sure,
Are you ready?
sure.
I kind of just had fun with this one. Okay, so the first one is buying studio time. Overrated, underrated, or just rated?
Buying studio time. Prop. That's tough. I think it depends on the studio. You know what I mean? It's like it seems like if you're not really there yet, it might not be the best move. You know what I mean? It could make a slight difference, but you're talking like a lot of money, and I bet there probably are ways to like do it yourself and put yourself in a good position where you don't necessarily need a studio. Like a studio is definitely going to be better, but maybe it's you could probably find a loophole around that somehow by kind of setting things up in your own way. So, I would say it's probably normally rated. I wouldn't say it's super overrated because there's absolutely benefits, but I wouldn't say like, you know,
I get what you're saying. Like you could be an intern at the studio or something, so you get time for free, and then you can market and get connects that way too.
yeah. Yeah, I haven't even like with my own stuff, I haven't even considered like going into a studio or anything. I when I was in a band, we did that, but that was just sort of necessary. But for a lot of like production stuff where you don't necessarily need to record instruments or anything, it's not I wouldn't say that's a complete necessity.
For sure, for sure. The
Mhm.
next one, overrated, underrated, rated, Chipotle.
Um, Properly rated. People love Chipotle, and it's awesome. It's
I
definitely
love Chipotle. I'm a sucker.
yeah, no, it's the best thing ever, dude. Definitely properly rated. Holds up to the hype.
Too much for avocado though. That's the thing. Or
Yeah.
the guacamole. Next one, gross beat or halftime or whatever you use for that plugin.
Gross beat or halftime? I'm not even sure what that means.
Oh, you haven't used gross beat or halftime?
Nope.
Never heard the memes about it or anything? Well, pretty much it like speeds the melody up and then it divides it in half. So it's fast, but then it's slow. So it's kind of like a different vibe with it. It's
So
pretty cool.
are you saying it speeds the melody up and then it takes like everything else and puts it in halftime?
Well, it really it just depends on the tempo that you're using. Like if you're using like a really like crazy fast piano going like you know like all over the place, and then you put gross beat on it, it just it in half and slows it down. So it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's just like some math is going on, but it just always gives it like a different vibe.
Okay. Yeah, I
It's
guess I
pretty
can't
cool.
really I've never even used that, so I can't answer that.
So just rated on that one. All
Yeah.
right. Overrated, underrated, marketing.
Marketing, I would say that's tricky.
I would say underrated as hell because you can have all the skills and everything in the world at your disposal. If you can't market yourself and talk to people, then what's the point of having that?
Right, but it's most people probably understand that. You know what I mean? So it's definitely probably like properly rated. I think that there's not a lot of people out there going like, "Oh, I don't have to market." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like I guess a lot of people would say I would say it's like properly rated in the sense that everybody's kind of like it's a necessary step. Speaking of that, dude, have you looked into like the Facebook ad side of things? that's something I'm really going to start trying with my music. That I'm releasing a song in a couple days that I'm going to try to push that with like the social media ads and stuff. Have you looked into that?
I can't say that I have purchased ads, but one thing that I have done to kind of like replace that is I've hit up people, my friends and family, be like, hey,
Mhm.
listen to this song if you like it. I'll send it to you early or whatever. I'll let you get like an early listen in. If you like it, share it when it drops. You know,
Mhm.
I've done stuff like that. But
Yeah, that stuff's definitely effective. I gotta like I feel like I don't take full advantage of like the people that are like directly around me. You know what I mean? That's something I should probably start utilizing. Even just like get like an email chain where I can send it to my friends and family and stuff.
do you
Probably
have
not.
a woman by chance?
No.
No, okay. Because I was gonna say, because like your girlfriend is your biggest asset right there. You know, she's gonna support you no matter what. So
Yeah. True. True.
I got two more for you, and then we can move on to whatever you want to get onto.
Yeah.
The
Let's hear it.
next one being making music with the sole intention for making money.
With the sole intention for making money.
Yeah,
I
saying
just
fuck the art, I just want money.
yeah, I think that's so lame. You know what I mean? So that's just I would think that's totally overrated. You know what I mean? I don't know why. For me, it's like that would take the point out of it because it's like I think the biggest thing for me is like I want to, you know, be myself and then have that resonate with people rather than like just like giving people exactly what they want because it works and it's not really what I like. You know what I
Kind of
mean?
turns into like robotic music, you know?
Yeah, it's like it's just it's a just a product at that point. It's not really like art or
Mm,
anything, you know. And so
take the
I
soul out
was,
of it.
what's up?
Takes the soul out of it.
Oh, totally, totally. And then it's yeah. So I would say that's overrated, just in the sense of like people. You know, there's definitely because I know some of my friends. You know, they're definitely like maybe a little bit less creative and they have like more of that business mind. And it's like they've definitely said to me like tried to push me in that direction. I'm like nah. And so like, but to them, that would be like underrated. You know what I mean? But to me, that's just like totally overrated.
Oh, I mean, I can respect the hustle, though, you know, but
Yeah.
and
It's in terms of business, it's not a bad idea. In terms of
not at
but
all, no.
in terms of like, you know, wanting to like be fulfilled as more of an artist, you know what I mean? Then it's like, nah.
Exactly. And the last one, overrated, underrated, rated, freestyling.
Freestyling, I am gonna go with underrated here because I spent this is like 2 years ago at this point. I was convinced I was going to be a rapper. And so I was spending like probably like at least 3 hours a day freestyling. It is the funnest thing ever, dude. Like
Oh,
once
it's
you
fun
get,
as hell.
yeah, like once you get into it and you start to get like a little bit good at it, it's incredibly fun. And so I don't think people even really understand how fun it is and how just cool it is to be able to like kind of like let it fly like that. So I'm gonna go definitely gonna go underrated on that one.
Underrated as hell for sure.
Yeah, have
Oh, you don't
you
mind if I cuss or anything, do you?
no, I don't care. I don't care.
Okay, cool.
So you said you wanted to be a rapper too at one point. So you've gone down that road, I'm assuming.
I wouldn't say that I wanted to be a rapper. I've always been a beat maker and a producer because I can like put the person on this beat and then fix the beat to help him out that way. But I kind of just rap for fun, and I was pretty good at it, but I don't do it anymore.
Yeah. It's certainly a good time. It's certainly a blast to kind of, especially because it's like sometimes it's like you just it the best part's like you don't necessarily know where you're going, but then you just think of like the perfect rhyme in the moment and you're like, oh, satisfying.
For sure. Yeah, I feel that right there. Let me
Yeah.
use the restroom real fast. Is that all right?
Yeah, yeah, it's cool.
Alrighty, brother. I'll be right back.
Yep. Dope. So you want to head back into some of the questions I got here?
Yeah, what you got for me, brother?
Yeah, so let's see. Do you have any projects that you're working on at the moment that you're excited about?
Um, no projects at the moment, but I'm always like trying to start a beat tape, and I never finished the beat tape.
So what is that exactly? I'm unfamiliar.
Usually I'll go in and handcraft like 4 to 6 beats, and then I'll release it as like a beat tape volume 1 or 2 or whatever. But never finished it just because I'm like a perfectionist, and I'm never happy with the results.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I can totally see what you mean there. So the point there is like you release the B tape, rappers will listen to it, look through and be like, "Oh, that one's dope. I want to try and get on that."
I mean, if they think it's dope, they can rap on it. But it's mainly just to kind of like show my arsenal of like what I'm capable of within, like my doll. Like yours is Logic, correct?
Hmm.
I pretty much do that just to show like everything like everything that I can do. Like I can like do effects here and like transitions and the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yep.
kind of like
So
flex on like the beat makers and stuff.
wait, so is it like a recording of you making the beats or something, or is it just it's just the beats?
It's just the beats.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, what the heck was I just gonna say? So yeah, it's sort of like a portfolio in a sense.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Exactly.
So this is something I like to ask all the people I talk to. What are your thoughts on being like the music guy when people around you might just be like, what the hell? Like what are you doing?
I got that answer or that question and that answer right here real quick.
Mhm.
Hold up, let me pull it up. What did I say? Because I like going off the idea of what I had said. Well, to answer your question, I gotta ask you a question. Do you feel like when they ask you that, do you feel like it's like in a negative way or a positive way?
Um, I would say it's like I would say it comes from a place of maybe not entirely understanding. So maybe in a sense, if they're gonna ask like, what it does maybe come from like a critical perspective. You know what I mean? Where it's like they're just trying to gauge like what you're doing. But I think if if you know why you're doing what you're doing and you kind of have answers for those types of questions, the interaction itself doesn't necessarily have to be negative. I think people who ask stuff like that could walk away with a sense of understanding. So maybe it is critical in the sense of like, it's people a lot of people might not be able to like relate in a sense where it's like, why
Yeah.
is like, why is this guy spending so much time doing music? You know what I mean? Like what's the deal there? But if you can answer that question, then I think the overall interaction could just be, productive.
My answer to that is something that you hit on. I said that people that ask that question, they simply might not fully comprehend, because they weren't exposed to musicians in their family or friends or something like that. It's like a whole other world to them.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It blows my mind that like there's a lot of people out there that like music's just like a secondary like facet of life. You know what I mean? Like it's not even that big of a deal to them. That seems so like bizarre to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of like families that are all about sports. Like their kids grow up playing little league, and then they're Division One and all that stuff.
Yeah. It's just a whole different approach to things. I mean, it's totally equally valid, but it's just like it's so like can you imagine what life would be like if music like wasn't there for you? You know what I mean? Like if music like just
Mm.
disappeared off the face of the earth, you're just like, what do I do now? You know what I mean?
I'm gonna find a way.
Figure
I'm gonna find a way
something.
to make it or listen to it. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah. I'll invent music, dude. I'll do whatever it takes. Like, bring it
Seriously,
back.
on some Beethoven shit.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. It's definitely like people definitely in a sense can't really relate to it, and you're totally correct on that. So yeah, so I guess that's those are the two ones that I like to ask people the most. What are some people that you find not what are like who are some people that you find inspiring? What are some things that you use as a source of motivation? Do you have anyone in particular that you're like, these people are awesome?
There's a lot of awesome people out there for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely my friends and family for sure. They always give
Hmm.
me motivation. They support you. Um, if we're talking like I can go to this person, like look this person up on YouTube and like watch a quick little video. Definitely Southside, Metro Boomin, those guys. I
Uh-huh.
can like hear them like just cooking up. I'm like, all right, bet, and then I just go and just make a beat real quick. And, aside from most people, I would say a lot of my inspiration comes from my dreams
Oh,
because I have
really?
like a lot of crazy dreams. Like I'm in other worlds and like seeing like whole ass like stars and stuff. Like it's crazy stuff. And I get in to my beats and I try and translate that thought or that picture. I come up with some crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's sick. That's dope. Have you ever looked into like there's like this psychologist, his name's Carl Jung. He's like really into like dream interpretation and understanding all that stuff and like where dreams come from and trying to understand like patterns of the mind and stuff. So if you're like a really like vivid dreamer, that he might be someone to look into because he's like deep in that world.
Mm,
You know, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
never heard
So
of that guy, but yeah.
yeah. So you said like you'll have like a dream of like a star, and how does that translate into a beat?
Um, for well, I have this thing called synesthesia where I can hear colors and smell colors and
Oh
um
yeah, yeah, I've heard about that.
that kind of stuff. I got that stuff, so it's like I hear a sound, I'm like, oh, that sounds purple or
Really?
something
That's
like
so
that.
sick.
Yeah. Like if I hear like a cop going by or like, have you ever heard like a cop going by in like a big city and it's like woo woo like it's warped?
Sort of, yeah.
Like that's really cool to me. And like I'm like I I can't explain it. You know, it's so hard. I'm like, well, that sounds like this, and if I put this drum loop on it, and I can like put the hi hats, and it's weird how I think about that stuff.
That's so crazy. So it really does come in terms of like colors. It's like painting in a sense.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty wild. That's gonna be a unique experience. And that kind of goes back to what you were saying about like the whole water drop thing where you can kind of hear the beat in the water that's dropping.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's
I
fun.
hear I hear like a waterfall, and it's like whoosh. It's like it's a constant sound, and it's like a drone sound. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, so if I got this drone sound, I can put a certain melody over it, and it's just like it just works perfectly. I don't know how
Yeah.
to explain it, but
So
it's really cool.
did you said so you can hear colors. Did you also say you smell colors?
I can smell colors. Like all my senses are connected with like colors and feelings and emotions and all that.
That's so intense. That's got to be wild. Has it been that way your whole life?
Yeah, for as long as I can remember, um, like a basketball. You know, like how it's kind of grainy.
Yeah.
I can like interpret it like through hearing and like the feel of it gives me an emotion, and then I can like connect the emotion to other senses too. I don't. It's
Wait, so you're saying like the the feeling of the basketball is basically an emotion. It's an emotional sensation.
yeah. It
So what?
mainly has to do with colors though. Like I can hear colors and feel colors and all that.
Yeah, that's so crazy. That's gonna be insane. So what would like what would like what would your iPhone be? Or what would that Twisted Tea be? Is that like
Um, it's like blue. Tastes blue.
really?
Yeah, and not because
That's
there's a blue label, but it just tastes blue.
that's so interesting. Damn.
Maybe like a bluish gray, like a mop water color.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be an interesting experience. So
Have you experienced that ever?
no, I wish, dude. I get like pretty intense chills and stuff from music. You get like all, the hairs on your arm totally stand up and stuff, but I've never had the synesthesia stuff. I looked that up when I was younger and I was like, oh, I wish I had that. That seems so cool. That seems so fascinating. But yeah, I've never gotten anything I've never gotten anything like that. For me, it's like you really do get like crazy vibes from music at times though, where it's like this is like nothing could ever make me feel that way except music. You know what I mean? It puts you in such like a surreal mind space, you know? And it's like it'll like there's just emotions that you'll feel that like you're like, I didn't even know that was possible, you know? It just seems so outside of like daily life, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy. This stuff's
Or
actually
if if someone names a song, I connect it in my brain to like uh name a song for example.
how about No Sleep, Wiz Khalifa?
That's a good one. Um, for me, my brain first it goes to experiences, and then it goes to living the experience and um like the drums in it too. The drums, they kind of sound black, stuff like that. I don't know, blackish, like you're fucked up one night or something and like about to pass out. That's kind of what that sounds like to me.
So say that last part again.
Like the drums of it,
Yeah,
like the drums of that beat, um, it's like kind of blackish, like kind of like you're about to black out, like you
yeah,
took too much drugs or something, you know?
yeah, yeah. That's interesting. You said life experiences too. It brings you back to like that kind of vibe. It reminds
Yeah,
me definitely of like that like early like high school life, where you're kind of out there and it's your first time like going to parties and stuff. You know what I mean? And it's just
oh
it's
for
it's
sure.
it's that energy. You know what I mean?
It's funny that you bring up that song because I got on my notes here I said Black Hollywood by Wiz Khalifa, super underrated.
Oh, really? I don't know if I know. I've never heard that one, honestly.
I believe it's off that album.
Huh. I know like I'm Boston Bruins Black and Yellow, that was like their song for a while. And then what's that? Work Hard, Play Hard. I like that song a lot. Besides that, I don't know a ton of Wiz Khalifa songs
What's that one album that changed it for you?
that change just what do you mean? Just
Like
Wiz Khalifa or music
just
or
just change your life, your thought process, the way you moved, the way you acted, the way you talked,
I
um,
mean, I
all
remember
that.
there's probably been like there's been a bunch of stuff where, you know, albums have had a pretty significant impact on me. And I don't know if it's necessarily that like they changed my life or anything, but they introduced like a whole new like field of imagination for me. You know what I mean? It's like they just present you with vibes that you haven't been exposed to yet. And like they kind of paint worlds in your head that are like so foreign. I remember like the first time I listened to Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, the
Like that,
Peppers, baby, come on now.
yeah, dude, I love those guys so much. They were like, they're in my top two favorite bands of all time. Um,
Well,
but
who's the
yeah,
other one? You said top two.
yeah. So it's them and Led Zeppelin for me. Are like
Okay.
top two favorite bands. But yeah, the first time I heard that album, it's like that took me on such a mental journey because it's like it really felt like they captured like what it was like to like be in California, to like be in the sun all the time, to have like that like quintessential vibe that you like associate with California. It really like that album really like connected the dots for me there and like put me there in a way that was like, wow. You know what I mean? It made me feel like I was like living in their world. And it was so it was like magnetic, you know. And then um other albums that have had like crazy effects on me. You know, I've never been a huge album guy. I'm more of just like a song guy. I don't have like on Spotify, I don't have a list of my favorite albums. I just have a list of my favorite songs and stuff. So there's a lot of songs that, you know, I feel just have such distinct vibes that they really can just like take you to some sort of place that's like it's it's just a world of its own. You know what I mean? Let me think if I can come let me see if I can come up with any other albums in
What?
particular.
Why you think I got three right here? I got Metallica Master of Puppets.
Hmm.
That one is fucking just sick. Period.
Yeah.
Guitar solos are
Battery.
crazy.
Battery's so fire on
Back
that.
great.
Yeah.
That one's sick. Birds in the Trap by Travis Scott. That album was just dark, melodic. That one was crazy. And
Mhm.
then one that I is just vibes and like kind of changed like how I appreciate people is Starboy by The Weeknd.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah.
I'm
I don't know. I haven't, you know, I only know Weekend's number one on Spotify right now, right? He's got like 90 million.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's he's gonna be once you hit 100 million monthly listeners, that's like what? That's so
That's just
insane.
insane, dude. He has so much money, and there's no way he can ever not be famous.
Oh yeah, no, there's no going back from that. There's no way to undo what he's done. Like,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, he can't go back to normal life after that. Yeah, I only know, I mean, I know Blinding Lights, Save Your Tears. I like that song a lot. Yeah. And then gosh, I'm having such a hard time. This is like one of my like weaknesses is like I can just never think of the things that like I need to say in these moments. And then I look up, I'll go on my phone later, be like, oh, I should this is like the perfect song for this moment.
Yeah,
Why didn't I
yeah.
think of that then? Um, yeah. And then like I said, you know, how about this? I'm gonna go through my playlist of songs that these are songs that I just think are like 10 out of 10s. I'll see if let's see which one of these would be good to talk about. Just like, do you know, have you listened to Medicine?
By who?
Uh so Sunday Vibes by Medicine.
Can't say I have.
Oh, actually, you know what? An album I just thought of. The Ineffable Truth by G Jones. It's like it's kind of a spooky looking album cover, but this album is absolutely disgusting. It's so
Mm,
sick. It's so sick. Oh, also this album too by Corliss. This album is ridiculous. It's so innovative. It's like
mm,
it's like um it's pretty out of the box. Like there's you know how in like experimental music there's like a lot of stutters and like out of time stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of that where it's just like a bunch of stuff that's like stuttery and like so syncopated and out of place and out of time. And it sounds pretty weird at first, but you develop a bit of a taste for it, and then it's like, wow, this is really something here. So I'd say those two albums I think are I wouldn't say they like changed everything about me or anything, but I am a huge enthusiast for those albums right there.
That's good. That's good. You got some other things that people might not listen to. You know.
Mm. Yeah. So what are some of your least favorite musicians? Who are some of your least favorite musicians or genres?
Mm. Um, least favorite genres. Probably modern country. I like old country a lot. Uh, I like all genres. Like I even listen to like Renaissance music and shit like that.
Hmm. So like classical stuff.
Yeah, a lot of classical stuff. I listen to that.
Yeah.
Musician wise, maybe a lot of these new. I'm not hating on females, but a lot of these new female artists.
Like the female rappers.
Yeah, it just something is just always off about them. I mean, the
Mm.
same can be said about guys because they're always rapping about the same stuff too, like drugs, women, money.
Yeah.
They're like rapping about like WAP and all this, and
Yeah.
it just turns me off. I'm not a big fan of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say
These
for me,
TikTok songs, I don't like those.
TikTok, I think, yeah, some of the TikTok stuff's just like, what? There's some gems in there too. You'll find a good song on TikTok here and there, but for the most part, a lot of it's just like, eh. But yeah, I'm also not the biggest country guy. I've tried to like get myself into it where it's like I'm gonna like give this stuff a chance, but it just never sticks. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me.
That one guy, that's a country guy right now. Kane Brown, I think that's his name. Heard his stuff. I just don't get the hype, but a lot of people like it. I do like Morgan Wallen a
Mhm.
lot. Morgan Wallen's awesome. I like that guy.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So what so to kind of switch gears from least to favorite, what's like your favorite thing about music in general?
Probably creating it, because
Hmm.
I can create something that makes your body move. I think that's it right there for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fire. That's
What
definitely
about
the
you?
case. I would say I love the whole thing. I love listening to it and then, making it. I feel like I feel like music, you get a real glimpse into someone's soul, you know what I mean? Where it's like, I feel like this is who this person really is. This is a representation of how they feel, what they feel like. It's just an expression of their most like authentic selves at times. And it's moving. It's very moving. And for me, it's just like I love listening to it. I love discovering new music and finding new artists. And then oh shoot, my phone just turned on. Um, and then just making it feeling like, like wanting to just make a contribution to that, you know what I mean? Maybe like give back to that world in some way. I think that that's definitely cool. And then it's just the best thing ever, where it's just like the things, it's so moving and yeah,
I think as long as you make um if you can make a musical piece of art, and as long as it puts an image in somebody's head, that's enough right there. You accomplished everything.
for real. That's really what it's about. I mean, that's that's what basically drives, that's what really drives people that are like truly musicians, rather than like we were talking about before, just going in it for like money or anything. You know what I mean? I think that's really where the creative like urge comes from, you know,
Yeah,
where it's like you'd still do it even if there wasn't money,
I would.
you
Yeah.
know? So it's like that's really what it's all about. So yeah, so I guess I pretty much got everything. There's one more thing I want to ask you, but before we get to that, do you have anything that you'd like to say for maybe like a closing thought or anything?
Uh, yeah, there's a few of your questions I'd like to answer real fast.
Hmm.
One of your things was something that I'm willing to die on a hill on.
Sure.
W- Mine was Justin Bieber is the most influential artist of our generation in the last 15 years.
Really?
Yeah, because all the girls loved him, the guys hated him, and Bieber fever is even a thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Like Mo define influential.
just the most talked about. No matter what he does, the like world hears about it. Hit song after hit song and all that.
So like just the most prominent, like basically well known. He's like the biggest artist in the world, basically.
Yeah, did he shape music? Maybe, but I just think that he's one of the most prominent slash influential artists in the last 15 years.
I can definitely subscribe to that in the sense that like, you know, you're not going to find someone that doesn't know who Justin Bieber is. You know what I mean? It's virtually
Exactly.
impossible to meet someone that has no idea who he is. And then, I think I was looking at this the other day. I think he's at second place on Spotify. He's got to be at least like 80 mil.
That's a lot.
Yeah, 80 million. He's fourth place, fourth in the world. I would say is just Justin Bieber I don't know.
Because I asked my girlfriend about that. She was like, I can't say anybody else.
Yeah. What about like Ed Sheeran or Taylor Swift?
They don't compare, I don't think.
Don't think.
They
Interesting.
just don't. Cause well, the thing about it is it's a since he was so young, and I was in middle school, and all the girls were crazy about him. T-shirts, posters, everything. That
Uh-huh.
didn't happen when Taylor Swift or Ed Sheeran came out, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. He's I can see him certainly being next level in terms of like he probably gets more attention than Taylor Swift. I could definitely kind of see that happening, you know what I mean? Just because it's even just, negative attention in a sense, you know what I mean? That it's there's no such thing as bad press in a certain way, you know what I mean?
The only people I think could compare with him is maybe the Kardashians, but
Yeah.
they're just celebrities. That's all.
Yeah, I can that makes a lot of sense actually.
I
Yeah,
got a
so
few
what
more
else?
questions.
What's
Yeah.
up?
Are you a sports guy?
Not really. Nah,
Oh.
not a big sports guy.
Hmm. One other thing. Um, so you make music 3 hours per day, right?
Mhm.
What is some, what are maybe 2 to 3 things, one, 2 or 3 things, whatever, that you go in looking for that 3 hours? Like, could it be something you learn new from the DAW that you're using, or a technique, or just to get beats out? Or,
It's basically just to get beats out and refine the process and learn, because there's going to be when you're writing music, it's like there's just going to be situations that you just run into over and over and over again, you know what I mean? And learning effective ways to solve those situations is a big part of it. And then also, it's two more things would just be like sound choice and sound design and then just like arranging in general. You know what I mean? Like learning how to get good sounds and design sounds properly and kind of control the way that things, get things to bend the way you want them to bend. And then with arranging, just kind of understanding this is kind of like what I said before, where it's like you're going to run into the same situations over and over and you got to like find solutions. Part of that is arranging where it's like knowing like what's going to fit right here. You know what I mean? Like what I have this whole thing, but what's going to come next and trying to just be more in tune with like because if you think about music, it's like it's basically just like an oscillation between like high and low energy. You know what I mean? Like things are really going hard and it's like they can't go loud and fast forever. So then you got to slow it down and then it just got to builds back up and goes in some sort of cycle, and just sort of getting more accustomed to that, I suppose, and then learning how to, yeah, sort of be more competent at like actually building the intensity. You know what I mean? And not building things in the same exact way every time where it's like, oh, I'm just gonna add the bass and then I'm gonna add the drums and it's like the same formula every time. It's trying to like give it like a little bit more I don't even know the word, just break it out of the box a little bit. And then there was one other thing I wanted to say. What the heck was it? It just slipped my mind. Where? Oh yeah. Just like developing a sense of perspective. You know what I mean? Because what I've found is like when you're when you've listened to something like 20 times over and over again, it sounds boring to you. So you want to make an edit, right? But then you'll get fresh ears and listen to it and you realize that edit wasn't even necessary. It was just that I was bored because I listened to it 20 times over and over again. And so like I think just putting in more time, it'll like help bridge the gap there where you can kind of develop a sense of like this sounds bad to me right now, but it's not going to when it's a fresh perspective and just kind of like getting more in tune with that. And then that'll make things more efficient.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
I don't know if you do this, but I do this whenever I'm not inspired to make a beat. I'll just like throw in a random loop, and then like I practice always finding the the good bass notes. Like
Mhm.
I'll practice that, and then I'll just work on like EQing. Like how can I make the 808 hit hard here? Like I'll just work on a melody and a 808, and that's just
Mhm.
what I do for like a half an hour or something, you know?
Yeah.
Just practicing within the DAW itself.
Yeah, totally. That's a crucial part of it is just getting like the sounds to sit together well, you know? It's like you could arrange it perfectly, but if it doesn't sound good, you know, kind of it's gonna miss swinging a miss there, you know?
So your arrangement, you think, is an issue with you?
Arrange yeah, I remember like, you know, when I was in a band with a bunch of people, like I'd always come up with ideas for the songs, but like they were just so opposed to what I was thinking because they probably just weren't great ideas, you know what I mean? Where it's like it's definitely a skill you have to learn and how to you know, just how to have things flow nicely into each other, you know? And it's like it's a challenge for sure. It's a challenge. Um I think you know, let me think about like my last couple songs though, you know, it's like I'm definitely getting better at it, but you know, that's definitely a big part of it for me. And then kind of like what I said before, if you don't have a singer, you got to find a way to like fill that void with the instruments. And so like really getting better at that. That's definitely part of it too.
I hear you.
Mm.
I do. Are you ready to close this out, or do you want me to ask another question?
Yeah, so I just have one more. It's like, do you know anyone that you think would be a good person for me to reach out to for them to come on this as well that you think would be a good fit for the podcast and that I could talk to and would enjoy it?
Mm, um, I can't think of anyone because I don't have a lot of friends. But no, at the moment, no. But if I could think of anybody, I'll text you about it.
Yeah, that sounds great. That would be perfect. So yeah, I guess that'll be all for now. This was episode 4 with Johawnn, and dude, it was a pleasure. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for even like reaching out. It was really
Yeah.
cool to have this opportunity and experience as well.
Yeah, no problem, dude. I had a blast. It was cool to hear about the synesthesia thing. That stuff that blows my mind. I'm like, I can't believe that's real, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, dude. Take it easy.
You too, brother.
Bye.